could do almost anything. And as far as the, how dangerous that job it was, that's right. I mean, it's amazing. And I actually interviewed a couple of 90-year-old loggers who had logged in the Smokies during the Depression. And it was like they would just bring in men because, men would get killed almost every day. And it's just like you had this line of men who had hungry families. And they'd keep coming in. And, one of the fun things about doing the book was the research, because I got to talk to this, this logger who was actually 92. And I said, the question I thought would be interesting was, what were you most afraid of? Because, that job, there's so many dangers. And he said it was the widow makers. And, if you've ever done any timber, you know that when you cut a tree, you fell that branches will shear off and hang in other trees. He said that was the thing he was most afraid of, because he said, he could be as careful as possible where he put his hand in case of a rattlesnake. He had some control over how he used an axe or saw. He said it was just your time, because those things could hang for a month up there and then come down. And as I did more and more research, I was amazed at how many men got killed just where they would get hit on the top of the head by a branch that dropped maybe 82, kill them, break their skull. Just an incredibly dangerous job. And I had relatives who did that up in those mountains. And that's whenever I start writing about how tough writing is, I think, I'm not doing that. Yes. I don't outline. When I do essays, I do outline. I have a plan. But when I write novels, I just kind of just go with an idea. Not even an idea. I just kind of get the characters. I just kind of let them go and kind of let them lead me where they're going. And a lot of times I don't know where it's going. I think that's probably a good thing, because if I don't, maybe the reader's going to be surprised too. Yeah. But it's a weird experience, and the more I write, the less I understand how it works. It's just like these stories just kind of come out of nowhere, and I just kind of write them down. Yeah.
It's obvious that you put a ton of research into this book. What are some of the different avenues that you go about?
Yeah. Well, the best way to do research, now, if you've got the paperback of this book, you probably already know this, but what I like to do is I like to find the people that are fanatics about one thing, because if you can find them, they're going to tell you things you could never imagine. And I was very lucky in that, when I spent a lot of time outdoors, and I'd seen a hawk catch a snake before, just snatch it up. And I'm sure if you spent time outdoors, you've seen that. But when I was thinking about, I wanted something that Serena could do that would intimidate these men, that these men would feel like I couldn't do this. And I came up at first with just having Serena go out on horseback and shoot rattlesnakes. Yeah, that's pretty impressive, but it's not mythic. It's not going to be something that really makes her stand out. Then I thought, well, she'll train a dog to sniff out rattlesnakes. That didn't seem right. And then I remembered that hawk, and I thought, well, what if I had to train not a hawk, but an eagle? And that's kind of a crazy idea if you think about it. And I thought, can I make that believable to anybody? And so I actually, what I did was I started doing research, and I contacted the American Falconry Association. And they finally got tired of me bothering them. So they said, go talk to Scott Stinson out in Wyoming. Not literally, they probably wish I had, but I called him. Anyway, at that time, Scott was, I think there were 12, maybe 13 people in the United States who hunted with an eagle legally, and Scott was one of them. He hunted jackrabbits with his, but I told him what I was doing, and he got interested in it, and we started doing, talking over the phone. I mean, one night I heard an eagle chirping, he kept it in his house. I think this guy's crazy. But I kind of like the crazy people. They're interesting. They're always interesting. But, I kept talking to him, and he said, well, if you really want to make this bird impressive, it ought to be a bear goose, which is a golden eagle, but it's been bred since the time of Kublai Khan, probably even before then. And they still hunt with them in Kazakhstan and some other places, Mongolia. But the amazing thing about those birds is that, and if you don't believe me, you can look this up on YouTube. They still hunt wolves with these things. Now, that's a badass bird. And that just struck me as being perfect for Serena. You know, you got a bird that can hunt wolves. And he also, he essentially taught me how to do it, how to train a bird. I mean, when Serena goes into that barn, into the stall, that's the way traditionally in Mongolia they train the birds. You go in there and you break the bird. You don't sleep, you don't eat. And finally when the bird will in a sense give in to you. And so all that was just interesting to me. And also it gave me a lot of fun, figuring out how do you get a bird from Mongolia to North Carolina mountains in 1929. That was kind of fun too. But yeah, I love doing research. Yeah. Oh, which author? Wow, there are a lot of them. I love Shakespeare. I think that comes through in this book. But also William Faulkner, Flannery O'Connor, Fyodor Dostoevsky wrote Crime and Punishment. That's probably maybe my all-time favorite book. Yeah, I read a lot. And I read a lot when I was young. And those writers all influenced me. I think you said a little bit of Huckleberry Finn maybe in the way the loggers talk, the kind of wit that they showed. But Dostoevsky remains a writer I really admire. Yeah, he's certainly one. Yeah.
Have you ever traveled to any of the places of these other authors, like the Swain's home or Kaufman's home?
Yeah, I've been to Faulkner's home.
And then what about people trying to follow like the places that you set up as like a tourist section?
Well, not yet, but you can go. I mean, if you really read the book carefully, there's some places you can go into the Smokies now, and you can actually there is a timber camp and a table that I use that's in the novel. That there's one like that in western North Carolina. I actually saw it was a yellow poplar, and the table. And this was owned by timber. It was in a timber owner's kind of dining room. It was from here to the wall, the table. It was from a single plank, and it was about this wide. And I just saw that it was almost like it was a trophy. They cut down this tree that was 120 feet high, and those kinds of things are always kind of fascinating to see. Yes. Why I should suffer? Well, I just thought in a way I almost had to, because the prediction made by Galloway's mother says that one thing can't kill him. So, simply he had to keep getting hurt, falling down a cliff, getting bit by rattlesnakes. And also I just thought there was a kind of irony in that, he's come to those mountains to hunt for the panther. And he finally finds one, but he can't do much about it because he's getting ready to eat him. And, I've always had a soft spot for mountain lions. I still believe they're up there. Some of y'all most scientists are skeptical, but I've got a couple of people who've seen them and I trust. One more, and we'll time to go. Yeah.
Did you have confidence in your writing? Did you initially think that this was going to be made into a local fiction when you started writing?
No, I had no idea. I didn't even know if it'd get published. What I try to do is I want to write as good a book as I can. And if I can satisfy myself and feel like I've done the best that I can, then I'm happy. I've just been pretty lucky. Thank y'all.